I'm Mr. Coe. I've never really done a teen talk like this, so I was trying to think of a topic that might be interesting, and I thought somewhat motivational, but donuts are more motivation for teens, I think, than just trying to recruit you. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying a donut. How many of you have heard the expression, if you dream it, you can do it? If you dream it, you can do it. Well, that's what I kind of want to talk to you about today, because even though I'm pushing the age of 50 years old and I've been in Olmsted Falls for a long time, I've always had this dream of being a rock star. And most rock stars don't start their career when they're in their 40s. But for whatever reason, ever since I was your age, I was really into rock and roll music. And I always wanted to be able to perform on stage, but the problem is I can't sing, and I didn't know how to play an instrument. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided, right after school let out, I've got the summer, I'm going to try and learn a rock instrument. And so I went to Guitar Center, and I didn't know a thing. And I bought a basic bass guitar and an amp, and I said, I'm going to teach myself how to play rock and roll music. And then I discovered it's not as easy as you think. But I still had this dream in the back of my head in my early 40s of trying to be a rock star, and I said, I'm going to try to do it. And what happened is, over the course of that summer, I opened all these doors that I didn't know they were there to help me learn how to play an instrument. Now, I had been in band in high school, but I played the saxophone, and sometimes that works in rock and roll, but not all the time. And so my son was really into Xbox, PS4, like you guys are. And what I discovered is, that game Guitar Hero? Remember with the plastic? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. Well, they make a version of Guitar Hero called Rocksmith for the Xbox and PS4 that you can plug a real instrument into and play it just like the game. And they also have lessons and stuff like that to learn how to play either guitar, bass, or drums. And so I started playing around with that and sort of teaching myself a little bit about bass guitar just by playing at home and playing on the Xbox. And that was something I didn't know existed. And a little bit after that, the choir had asked me to accompany them when they were playing in the spring for their show, and I was so nervous. I just had to play this simple line to Love Story. How many of you have heard that song, Love Story? Just a few? It's Taylor Swift, right? No. Who is it by? I even forget.
Taylor Swift.
Is it? Okay. So I had to play that, and I mean, that wasn't really my version of rock and roll, but they had asked me to go and accompany them, and so I did, and I was sweating like crazy, and I was really afraid because I'd never left my basement before. And in the audience was a parent of a former graduate. The graduate's name was Jacob Conder, and his dad has been playing in bands for a long time, and he heard me play, and he said, hey, I think I'm going to start a band, and he called me up on the phone. I'll never forget, the Cavs were in the NBA Finals. He's like, hey, would you like to be in a band? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be in a band! And I was all nervous and everything, and I'm like, I'm going to go to work, and he's like, all right, learn these 2 songs, and I worked for hours and hours just to learn these 2 songs, and I got to my first band practice, and it was nothing like I thought it would be, because everybody was just kind of loose, and hey, we're just going to hang out and try to jam to some music, and I was like, well, but wait, I spent all this time learning these songs, But eventually, I got the hang of it, and since then, our band, the name of my band is Fuzzy Dice. We've probably played at least 15 shows out in public, and so I'm sort of living that half of my dream of being a rock star, all because I thought, even though it's late in life, and you guys don't have that disadvantage, it's early in life for you, if you dream about something, you can actually do it, and doors will open for you. Then the second part of the story is, I thought, well, how could I take my love of rock and roll music and bring it to work? Like, and actually work with kids and teach them about what I'm really passionate about. And I decided I was going to try to write a curriculum for a class, and I talked to Dr. Lloyd and wrote it all up and did a presentation for the Board of Education, and they said, thumbs up, like, you can do this. So now, not only am I living my dream of actually playing in a band, but now I get to teach kids about my passion for rock and roll music. And my class is called Rock and Roll in the American Culture, and what I do is I take events from American history and tie music to them. And if you ask like the kids who are in my class, like every day I talk about several different events in American history, whether it's civil rights or Vietnam War protest, and bring in music and teach them about the musicians and artists that are performing for that. So 5 years ago, all I did was think about rock and roll, and then I finally decided I want to try to do something about it. And it was something I knew nothing about, but I loved it and wanted to make something of it. And now I get to play in a rock and roll band, which is something I never thought I'd be able to do. Now I get to actually come to work and share my passion with you guys, with the students of Olmsted Falls. So the moral of my little story here is just to say, if you have a dream and you want to put your mind to something, no matter how far-fetched it is or out there or how old you are, or you think you're too young or you think you're not talented enough, you know, if you put your mind to it and start working at it, doors will open to you. And then maybe that'll lead to you getting to live out whatever dream you have or whatever goal that you set for yourself. It could be music, it could be art, it could be dance, it could be anything. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Just if you're passionate about something, pursue that passion, because you can make it a reality, just like I did. So, thanks for coming today. If you want to grab an extra donut on your way out, I appreciate it. If you want to sign up for Rock and Roll in American Culture, I'd love to see you. Our classes are full and people are enjoying it, so thanks.